HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Eternal One, says to a person, "My light in your hand is the Torah, and your light in my hand is your soul. If you look after my light, I will look after yours." So I'm going to light a candle for Brian, even though, let's face it, no one could hold a candle to Brian.
One day, out of the blue, I got a phone call from Brian saying it was an emergency, can he come and see me? As a musician, I don't get many emergency calls, so it's okay. He arrived announcing himself like this: Fox is the name, Rabbi is the game.
He had a great ability to make you laugh and be happy for a bar mitzvah child. He had an ability to make you sad at the passing of a congregant or a family member. Sometimes he managed to do that in one service. A skill and an ability to understand and be empathetic with people and allow them to express their true emotions.
I succeeded Gary as chair of Menorah during Brian's last few months as rabbi of this shul. What I wasn't told in the job description as chair was that part of your job was to be the rabbi's line manager. How do you line manage a force of nature? First you have to find him.
We all have our memories of Brian. Many of us have them as of a personal nature and are so personal that we don't really want to talk about them in public. but Brian was a support for lots of people in this congregation and for lots of people elsewhere.
So he changed the course of my life and my family's life. And I guess he did so for many here tonight, and for many elsewhere in the world too. For wherever Brian lived, he made the world around him a far more interesting place. For most of us, his years at Menorah will have great memories. And as we sit in this building with its deep Aron Kodesh and read from our new scroll, we'll always remember. Zichron Livracha, his memory really is a blessing.
I always remember Brian's presence and like being a whirlwind and lots of joy and open arms and warmth. And he was an integral part of my journey when I was a child of being a progressive Jew and what that meant, and me wanting to be a rabbi when I was 11. And I think he was a very key part of that because it looked so much fun being a rabbi.
A favourite reminiscence of mine of Brian was the night of discussion we had when the humanists came in for an evening. They sat down with their arms folded. They were obviously gunning for a fight and a discussion, and they were going to tell us how much God wasn't in the room and wasn't around. By the end of the evening, one of them came up to me and said, "This is such a lovely synagogue. Do you think we could hire it for an event?"
There's a spirituality I would describe outside the faith community that Brian was able to touch upon, and he was able to resonate with that. That's an extraordinary gift because he was a very faithful man, but he somehow managed to carry that faithfulness lightly.
His father passed away on the morning of Yom Kippur, I think, or on the Kol Nidre, when we were in the old shul building, and Brian stayed in shul, did the service the whole day. He didn't take a break at all. His devotion that day was quite incredible, and I know what he thought of his father and how much he loved him, but he gave his everything to the community that day, so it's another big memory for me.
It was just after we'd joined Menorah, and I was sitting at work, and my secretary told me that there was a rabbi on the phone. I had no idea who it was. Anyway, I soon learned it was Brian. Brian said, "We need some chairs." He says, how much can you give? So anyway, we agreed a price, but then I thought I'd better sit on the chairs, and we have done since.
I remember him as vividly as if I'd seen him yesterday, because he was the kind of man who wore his soul on the outside, so that every encounter that you had with him was so vivid and meaningful.
One time when we were in shul, we were like really young, and our dad was like telling us to be quiet, and then Rabbi Fox like turned around and said to us, he was like, "Shh," to our dad, like, "Stop telling the kids to be quiet, be quiet. You're making far more noise than they."
My favourite memory of Brian was I used to come to his Tuesday night classes, and I remember being sat in a crowded room, and somebody said, "I need to ask a question," he said, "but you'll have to forgive me, I'm not Jewish." At which point Brian brought the meeting to a bit of a standstill, and he went, "Oh, wait a minute, you don't look not Jewish." And that was my favourite moment of his. He gave me many great moments, and I miss the guy dearly.